Why you are always the most appropriately dressed person in the room, but the problem is often you dress not just for yourself, but it's never really for yourself. ENFJs dress for other people. So this is not just specific to ENFJs, but I would say ESFJs as well, specifically because when you look at the cognitive function, they have extroverted feeling in their dominant or their first function. So this means that they care a lot about the harmony of other people, how other people feel about them, and being socially weaved in, or I would say embedded to society, is very much important because it's all about being ethical, it's all about being accepted by society. And so often ENFJs feel like people don't really care for their thoughts, or they become insecure about what they think that is unique to them and that is not like everybody else. And so for ENFJs, this video, dedicating it to you and to ESFJs as well, it's because if you look at the world of fashion, yes, we do conform to dressing in a specific way for specific special occasion. There is a time and place for dress codes. Let's say you are attending a wedding, you are going for a friend's birthday party. Whenever you are invited to such function, there is a thing called dress code. So that's why people would come up with things like casual Fridays, semi-formal, dressy, business dressy. So all these dress codes are there because it needs to be respected. People don't want you to appear out of place when you are networking or when you are part of a community, right? So the word community, social belonging, is very important for FE dominant users, so which is ENFJs, ESFJ. I would also go to say, and some INFJs. INFJs are not that social conformist. It really depends on which part of their mind that they're focusing on. But I would say the FE dominant, this is quite important for you. So what does this video means is that, okay, so I am Michelle. If you're new to my channel, I study fashion psychology, cognitive function. So I merge both my passion and profession together. So I started out as a fashion designer, style consultant, and now I am doing a lot of self-development coaching. And so I've mixed that realm of self-development, personal transformation, and the external aspect of things, which is how people perceive you. How do you manage first impression or image impression? I connect the dots between the kind of signals that you give based on what you wear, and then if it's congruent to what you want to showcase from the inside. And I often help clients to overcome their insecurities when it comes to, let's say there's a specific personal style that you are very inclined to. You don't know whether this is strategic or this is even good for you based on your life goals. So I assess much deeper than just the superficial aspect. So all in all, I do coaching, but I do a lot of this free content because I do want to get this message out there that in today's world, it's not just about focusing on trends and looking like you are the trendiest person in the room, but it's more about dressing in a very intentional, strategic way that helps you to achieve your life goals, or at least helps you to embody or express the values that you have on the inside. So going back to the point of this video, so ENFJs and ESFJs, because you have extroverted feeling as your dominant function, typically, when I will use the word typically, right, it's disclaimer, I'm not saying that all ENFJs and all ESFJs are like that, but this is based on cognitive function and is based on stereotype, just to put it out there. When you lead with dominant extroverted feeling, so this means that you are constantly and almost automatically being able to read the emotional landscape of what is happening in the room. So often you're very prepared with the things that you're wearing, and you do dress in such a way that you want to appeal to people. You want people to relate to you, which is not a bad thing. However, when it's done in a extreme state, this is where you kind of lose yourself, where you don't stand your ground and you don't have your individuality, which in certain situations, in certain rooms, is very much needed if you want your opinion to be taken seriously and you want to put your foot down and say, hey, I'm assertive, I have opinion of my own, I may not agree to certain things. So I think ENFJs, ESFJs, they kind of battle between this wanting people to relate and like them, but at the same time, they have certain truth that they have observed or know that they want to speak out, but it becomes very hard for them. The second function is introverted intuition. So this gives ENFJs their vision. Similarly to INFJs, INTJs, where they have introverted intuition as their first function. So ENFJs, because introverted intuition helps them to see patterns where they connect the dots, future. But then for ESFJs, introverted sensing, which means they're able to rely on their past experience and data patterns to determine if this is right for them. ENFJs, they're able to foresee the future. ESFJs, I would say, they're not so inclined to wearing trendy outfits. They will more or less already be wearing things that has been working for them. Even though they've already outgrown that style, they will still wear it because they know that it's proven. But ENFJs are a little bit more open to trends or trying new things, also because they have extroverted sensing in their third function. So this means that it's like that child function, right, where it comes out in a very naive way. It engages with physical sensory world, so they are inclined to aesthetic appearances, presence, visual impact. So they do want to explore certain physicality, meaning if they look at a certain texture on a fashion, if they look at a trend and they're very drawn to the color, they may not have the why or the strategic vision on how it's going to work for them. They do find themselves seeing that I want to explore these sensory things that I'm seeing. Compared to ESFJs, they are less open to that because they don't have extroverted sensing in their third function. For ESFJs, their third function would be, this means that, yeah, perhaps they are more inclined to dressing in a way where it could be more practical. They might not see it's very important for them to wear certain things in order to command respect. Maybe some of them who are very developed in their third function, which is extroverted thinking, they might start seeing that status, wearing in a specific way is going to command the respect that they need. So some ESFJs who are very developed, they might have that. Last but not least, we look at the inferior function because the core of this video or this series is specifically on how each MBTI type can utilize their inferior function to, they have conquered their insecurities. So your inferior function is where your fear lies, your insecurities lies. And if you can wear it as a dominant function, it makes you think that it's a fake it till you make it mentality, where, for example, INTJs, they are always not in the present reality. Therefore, the things that they wear are super practical, minimalistic, they don't really care. It's just very cold, right? But the moment that they're in touch with their physical reality, they know that, hey, this event that I'm going to is like beach vibe, there's resort, they would then use that sensory feeling, which is, or they will use that sensation, that physical reality, as something that they should master, that they should embrace, rather than neglecting and just wearing what they are used to or what they know that is more practical to a place and then looking out of place. Okay, so going back to ENFJs and ESFJs, because you have introverted thinking, this means that this is your least developed function, and the one that when you're under stress, you critique yourself a lot, and this is where you have decision paralysis. So how does this look like in an outfit choice? I would say you don't really have a stand for yourself on what actually looks good. So I think it's very difficult for a TI inferior person to have a very strong signature style. They might have unconscious signature style. So for example, there is a kind of stereotype that says that ENFJ just looks like everybody in the crowd. Let's say everybody is now wearing crop pants. they will more or less be wearing crop pants as well, and then they're just blending in, right? So it's not to say that they don't make that kind of decision or they don't have the sense of style, but the sense of style is following what the society is at. They're not going to be somebody like ENTP or INTP or someone that is more rebellious, ISTP, to wear things that, you know what, it may not be trendy, it may not be accepted, but I'm able to make it work, and this is my personal style. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry. Third function is not what I just said earlier, but it is FESI. So the third function of ESFJ is actually extroverted intuition, which means that they do want to explore, but it's in a very innocent way. They do explore some fashion in that sense, but maybe not. If it's not very developed, it wouldn't be very open to trying new trends compared to ENFJs. And I would say for someone that has extroverted intuition as their third function, it may be inconsistent in such a way where sometimes they will try something and then they don't stick to it, and then they will go back to their original style, which is introverted sensing. Very much like the ISTJ, ISFJ, they will just go back to wearing what they are used to. Only once in a while you will see them trying to explore new things. So it's not very consistent. I think it can be an element of surprise. It can be something good depending on the situation, but I would say they are not so open to new things. So they might be wearing things that is they're very used to already, and then they may be a little bit out of place, or maybe they have been promoted in certain position in life, and then they need to update their wardrobe to match the status, or else they're going to have the imposter syndrome. So ESFJ might have that problem. So both ENFJ and ESFJs have introverted thinking as their inferior function. This means that they kind of lack a signature style. So someone with a very strong signature style, I would say, yeah, you can take a stereotypical ISTJ or ESTJ most likely. That is, I would say, they are very aware of how people perceive them. No. TJs are more aware of that because of that reputation, that TE dominant. They care about their status. So they might have to dress in a specific way, like quiet luxury or not quiet luxury, it doesn't matter, but they would have a very strong sense of style that you would easily recognize, like, hey, this person has that power dressing in their wardrobe. That is their style. It might change color, it might change patterns, prints, but there is a flavor that you recognize in their style. For example, for ENTJ, but or even ESTJ and ISTJ. But for someone that has TI inferior, this means that they are quite afraid of their own thinking, their thoughts. They cannot be individualistic in that sense. So it's very different from ENTPs and ISTP because they have TI. TPs have TI parent and INTP have TI hero. So this means that they are very bold in trying to not conform to society, and they are very open to sharing their opinion, although it's not welcomed by society. But for someone that has TI inferior, this is their problem, and that's why they are prone to self-criticism, and they often ask themselves, is what I think true? They always doubt their own thinking. Inferior, it's not very developed, and you do not become aware of it, and then you always rely on your first and second function to dress, ESFJ and ENFJ. Over time, your wardrobe becomes a collection of social tools rather than personal expression and showcasing your uniqueness and individuality. So fashion is a form of self-expression. Of course, there is moderation, there is intention to wearing certain things. So you have a lot of outfits for occasion, you have a lot of outfits for roles, and even outfits of how you want people to feel, and not how you feel, but you want other people to feel towards you, which is great in some situations. It's just that if you're not aware that you're overdoing, this can become a problem. So I call this the mirror effect for ESFJ, ENFJs, those with dominant FE, mirroring effect when it comes to their style, their dressing. Some signs that your inferior function is not very developed and that you're over relying on your dominant function for your sense of style. So ENFJ and ESFJs, here are some signs that you can look out for in your wardrobe that is making you look like you are overusing your dominant function and highlighting your inferior function without you knowing so. Your wardrobe is contextually perfect and personally hollow. Basically, it means that you have something for every occasion, whether it's on duty, off duty, casual, smart casual, every single occasion, who you're going to meet, you have an outfit. And when there's a time when you have no agenda, if you look at your outfit, it kind of looks like there's no purpose because there's nothing going on. So you feel this strange blankness that's going on in your head because you're not dressing to express yourself. You're dressing to please other people or impress other people. Now, if you follow my community, what I do on the side, I coach people to dress strategically to impress others. Really depends. I always go back to the dose is what makes the poison. So some things, if you overdo it, it can be very bad for you. So in this case, for ESFJ, ENFJs, they come to me for coaching in terms of how do they balance out their extroverted feeling with their introverted thinking. How can they draw the line to have the boundary, right? And so it starts off with how do they perceive themselves? How do they manage their impression towards other people that's going to help them to shape the way people behave around them. So if you're always dressing for other people and you don't stand for your own individuality, it kind of looks like you don't have any opinion of your own, and maybe that's why people don't really like hanging out with you because you're just very agreeable. Another sign is you buy things that works rather than things that you love. There is no doubt that ENFJs, ESFJs, you are a practical shopper. You're able to identify gaps, a blazer for a meeting, you need a casual top. You do so quite practically, efficiently in some sense. It's just that if your wardrobe is very practical all the time and there is nothing that you love, how is it then you're going to feel confident being who you are rather than being who you are for other people? Another sign would be you do look very presentable a lot of times, and that's because you're performing a role. So you're giving a presentation, leading a team, you're hosting an event, you feel sharp and steady, put together in your element. But on ordinary days, when you don't have to perform, you feel like you're invisible because you feel like your identity is being shaped by everyone around you. So it's kind of like making you feel like, although your wardrobe looks presentable all the time, it fits every occasion, they are uniform. So what are some shifts that you can make for ENFJs, for ESFJs to exercise or use more of their introverted thinking through the world of fashion when you are building your personal style? Is shift number one, build one no audience outfit. So this outfit is not for anyone else. It's not for any occasion but yourself. What do you truly feel like wearing, or what do you truly feel like you're inspired by that you want to wear that? So I have to say very carefully inspired by it so that you are able to discern that when I say you're being inspired by, it's not that you're dressing like that person for the sake of what the person can do, but you are just genuinely inspired with the fact that I love the texture of the dress. I feel like it resonates with who I am and what I think is beautiful. It's very personal rather than what other people would think. I guess the only question is, does it feel like you when nobody is watching when you're wearing the outfit? Is this you? I think the question that ENFJs, ESFJs often ask is because they are always doing things for people, they neglect about their own identity and what they stand, and therefore when they have nothing else to rely on externally, it becomes very difficult for them individually. Shift number two, separate your social wardrobe with your signature wardrobe. Your social wardrobe is a toolkit. So for example, a blazer for a meeting, a crisp white shirt for something that requires you to look extremely competent and presentable, a dress that is loved by your family because everybody else thinks that you look super feminine in it, sure. But this is all performative. It's your social wardrobe, which is very much needed for MBTI types. We do need to dress intentionally for a certain social setting, okay? But that is only one side of thing, and it's not enough if you do not balance it with your signature wardrobe. So there are many methods out there online on how you can create your signature wardrobe. For me, it has always been, what is your image goal, right? So if, let's say, I know that I tend to have features that makes me look younger, like a little girl, I want to be taken seriously. It's my personal perception or view about my self-evaluation rather than evaluation of other people, right? So if I think that if I wear a lot of soft colors, pastel colors, it's just going to make me feel softer than I want to be. It's not how other people want me to be, but how I want to be. Then I would switch things around. So for someone to build the image goal, for like yourself, ESFJ, ENFJ, is to ask yourself, how do you actually perceive yourself? Do you feel like you are softer than you should? Do you feel like you should be more assertive? Do you want to be more warm and welcoming? Do you want to look more cool because it's just what you like and it's not just because it's for other people? So you can use style and code as another technique as well, where it's a little bit more practical and less deep reflective like image goal, because image goal is something that I do with my clients through a very long consultation, that we try to discover what is really the goal that you're trying to portray out there, right? And this is way more than just what's on the outside. It's very much to do with your personality, with your background, with your upbringing, with your life goals. So image goal can be, I would say, very deep. For people who want more practical, you can look at style and code, which is also, you can find it on TikTok. They call it the 3-word method. Think about 3 style adjectives that describes who you are, and then build your wardrobe around that. So it could be cool, urban, minimalistic, right? But again, I think with caution for ESFJ and ENFJ, make sure that this work comes genuinely from you. It is you using your introverted thinking. It is what you want to portray, and it's not because what people want you to portray. Shift number 3, practice self-differential shopping. So what does this mean? Is that the next time when you go shopping, catch the moment when you pick up something and then you say, oh, I bet if I wear this, my sister is going to, or I bet if I get this, my husband is going to. So again, you are performing, you're dressing for other people. So yes, you can have those thoughts because you want to do nice things for people, you want to impress people. At the same time, you can ask yourself, okay, yeah, my husband will like this, but do I love it myself? Okay, it's not because of other people. You need to be able to differentiate what you love and what other people love. That is not just your identity. ENFJs and ESFJs, you are extraordinarily gifted at making people feel seen because you can read the emotions of the room. But the key point here is to learn that with you doing that for other people, you should also turn it inwards. The real work here is learning how to turn that thing into the same attention inwards. So what do you love and what do you feel? Do you feel seen by yourself? Your style is allowed for you to be you. It does not make you less generous because you're dressing for yourself. It also does not make you feel less connected. Again, I don't think FE dominance will take it that far. So if anything, wearing something that is genuinely feels like you tends to make you more present because you are more grounded in who you are and your individual self. And it is also because you are not performing an identity, you are inhabiting one. If you guys are very interested in working with me one-to-one, or you want to get deeper into the work of integrating how people perceive you on the outside to what you feel on the inside, also understanding your personality development, let me know. I am really thinking about starting a community, a private one, probably on school. I'm still looking at a few platforms. I want to be able to come up with learning pathways, courses that are a lot deeper than what I'm showing on YouTube, and really allow people to learn on a deeper level how to have this self-mastery, self-confidence that comes from not just understanding your personality, but being able to dress in a very intentional way, because fashion is not just about consumption. It is really intentional self-expression. And that's how you're going to get your self-confidence or empowerment. Yeah, guys, let me know what you think of this, and your comments are going to help me. I'm going to continue to provide free content. Of course, subscribe to me on YouTube. I post every 1 or 2 weeks. I'm trying to ramp it up to every week. And hopefully a few videos every week is going to be great. But yeah, let me know, because I do intend to start the community, and then with a very accessible paid membership, you're able to access a lot more than what I'm sharing on YouTube or TikTok. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and hope you like and share, because this will help me to get the content out there, to help people, to get the awareness out there. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.